here. I'm here. Trust me. I'm not leaving you. Welcome in to the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. Let's get started. Let's go. Let's get started. Ben Glaze. Today is a Big Fraud Wednesday. And this edition of Big Fraud Wednesday, we start off the festivities at about 6:15 p.m. Eastern with Who Are These Free Beers? We may starting those shows at 6 p.m. because they oftentimes go like an hour, and that makes everything else kind of wonky. Ben and I will be reviewing recent editions of the Free Beer and Hot Wings show with our critique, if you will. Most of it goofing on the show and having fun. It's always fun. Every once in a while, we will review a segment that is like, oh, hey, this was a good segment. But those are few and far in between. There was a time when I wasn't able to actually make these types of jokes about their show. But it is a target-rich environment. Out of all the review shows that we do, Who Are These Free Beers is the easiest to do. Quite literally, you can pick any segment from any show and pull 7 to 10 clips that are worthy of discussion. It's remarkable. So Ben and I will do that. Not the most fun thing in the world to do. I mean, I take it back. I like it. I like when I pull a clip that's like, oh, we're going to have a field day with this. But sometimes the monotony of the content makes it brutal to listen to. So that will be later on. Let's see. Brandis is here. I sent Brandis a shout not too long ago. I said, hey, where you been, my dear? She is here now. Let's welcome her back. Thank you so much. Easy sporting the free dad hug shirt, which you would think that something as simple as free dad hugs wouldn't elicit such a horrible response. But I am looking forward to today being out in the wild with this shirt. What this means is, the meaning behind the shirt is that it is a message to the gay kids who, when they say to their parents, hey, I'm gay, and then the dad goes, well, fuck you. I hate you. Get out of the fucking house. Which happens all too often. So a guy like me, I'm walking around and I come across, gay kid. And I'm like, hey, bring it in here. I'll give you a hug. That's a way of me saying that there are people that do care about you. Because I can't think of anything that would be more hurtful than a young kid, a young lady, young man who's got like a normal life of love, and then suddenly they say, we don't love you now. Get out. Ah, God damn it. What the fuck is wrong with you? So that's where my brain is always. Today is Juneteenth. Okay? Juneteenth is, every year I go through this. And in the past, I've been like, what the fuck is Juneteenth? But I'm pretty sure I have it down this year. Juneteenth is the name for today that is recognized as the day when the last place where there were slaves finally got the word that, hey, slavery is no more. All these slaves are free. And I'm pretty sure it was like a military dude came in on horseback with a bunch of other military dudes. This is, I don't know, long enough time after the Civil War ended. They march in, and there's like a plantation. And some guy is like, yo, hey, welcome to the plantation. Here's the help. Would you like a mint julep? Here, have a drink. Sit down. Sit down a spell, I say. Yeah, hey, all these people here? Yeah, that's the help. Yeah, they're going to make you a good meal. Sit down there, Colonel. No. I got to go. No thanks on the mint julep. And all these people, they're free to go. I'll say what? Yeah, you heard me, fuckface. Or the might of the military is going to go up your ass. These people are all free. That's all I know. I don't know names. How is it that the Civil War ended and then there were still places like this in America? So Diana approaches me. She says, what is Juneteenth again? So I told her what I just told you. I'm like, I think I'm right. All right. She goes, this hasn't always been a thing. I said, no, it hasn't. And I'm seeing right now that it hasn't been a national holiday since 2021. So since it was recognized as a federal holiday in 2021, Biden made it such. You see, when you do something like this, because we are in this weird spot with all these fuckface factions of Americans, specifically the MAGA Republicans, who, anything like this, culturally recognizing something as important as this is, they're not going to like it. So they won't recognize Juneteenth. Okay. The holiday's name is a portmanteau of the words June and 19th, as it was on June 19th, 1865, when Major General Gordon Granger ordered the final enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation in Texas at the end of the Civil War. Although the date commemorates enslaved people learning of their freedom, this only applied to the former Confederate states. There remained legally enslaved people in states that never seceded from the Union. These people did not gain their freedom until the ratification of the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution on December 6th, 1865. So I guess Texas, I don't know shit about fuck, as Ruth once said. They weren't like, they didn't secede from the Union during the Civil War, I guess. So it's kind of like a loophole. Confederate states had to immediately stop. Texas like, well, we're not a Confederate state, so we're just going to keep our slaves. So they had to legally wait for the ratification of the 13th Amendment, which I don't know what, I know what the amendments are, but I don't know what the 13th Amendment is. I think it says 13th Amendment, thou shalt not have slaves. That is correct. It abolishes slavery and involuntary servitude, except as punishment for a crime. All right, so that's basically it. Nothing more really to say about it other than a lot of folks have the day off. We don't get any mail. It's all cool. I think this is a thing that's worthy of recognizing as a federal holiday. I mean, I don't see what the problem is. But there's always blowback, There's always somebody who's pissed off about everything. Kenny says, I've always had a hard time wrapping my brain around the idea of humans owning other humans as slaves. Be it as recent as the past couple hundred years or thousands of years ago. No, you're right. I oftentimes think about that, you think about how 1866 and then the Emancipation Proclamation, all that shit that we just talked about, and then the idea that all the crazy shit that happened, especially in the South, discrimination, unbelievable, horrible treatment, still to this day. Not nearly as bad, but there you go. Bob says, I'm pissed off because it's raining here in Orlando today. Got a little time off. Yeah, that happens. I don't know if you're going to get an all-day rain, though. That sometimes it's just part of the day. Chris in Buffalo says, yeah, I'm sure my mom's all pissed off about it today while watching Fox News and sucking off Tucker Carlson's dick. All right. Meanwhile, we are off and rolling. Today being, like I said, a Big Fraud Wednesday. I'm excited about that. It is also a Dear Meathead Day, which 29 minutes away, if you have something that you'd like to discuss with Dad on Dear Meathead, by all means, send it along. You can send it on the Shoreliner Striping inbox, eric@ericzaneshow.com. I see that Mark R. sent something along. Would like my dad to answer the question. Keeping it pretty basic as usual with him. I found out the other day that the dementia has caused him to forget how to read. Like, he didn't know how to read anymore. He'll look at letters and and I'm like, oh my God. Makes me feel bad every time. All right. So Dad will join us Dad and Joanne will join us in just a few minutes. If you have a question, eric@ericzaneshow.com. Speaking of Free Beer and Hot Wings, with it being who are these free beers today, I did a little comparison on Facebook. Soccer announcer, former soccer player, now soccer announcer or commentator. He's doing work during the Euros. Landon Donovan. Donovan just went through like a hair transplant. That's where they take follicles from the back of your head, like a band of follicles, remove them one at a time, and then put them in where the baldness is. If these procedure is done correctly, it usually works in a fantastic way. So if you have a swath of area that has your follicles removed, they like in the back, they don't take all the follicles. Let's say you have 3,000 follicles to remove out of the back of your head, or that are available. They will go and take like a third or a half of them out of the back of your head and then put them on top. So what that does is it where you have hair, it doesn't really look that different at all. It looks perfect, because all the other hairs will compensate for the ones that they just removed. And because they're not all gone. Now, if they were all gone, sure, you'd have a bald spot on the back of your fucking head. But they removed some of the follicles on the back, and then they put it in on the top one at a time. And when it's all said and done, it looks great. I know people that have had this done. Well, Landon Donovan just had this done. And they said to him, hey, man, yeah, don't worry. Your head where they do the procedure will not be visible on TV. Well, this is a clip from TV. This is what Landon Donovan's head looked like on TV the other day. I'm fucking this up. Okay, this is how he was when he was younger. All right, looking good. And then his hair starts falling out. He gets the procedure done. This is what it looks like now. There is a text exchange. Somebody texted Donovan, and he posted this. LD, check Twitter ASAP and probably fire your barber. Donovan said, where were you 7 hours ago? I had a hair transplant procedure 2 weeks ago and was told it wouldn't show up on camera. Who told you that? Rafa Marquez? Don't know what that means. Donovan posts the middle finger. Can I post this? Whatever, I deserve it. Good night, Mo. So whoever the fuck that was went ahead and posted it. That was LA Galaxy teammate Mike McGee. So he's rolling with it, okay? I can't believe they said to him, yes, you'll be fine. The way the back of your head looks will not be visible on TV. How could you possibly believe that? That your head would not be visible on TV? And who is the technical director for Fox Sports who says, hey, let's put Landon Donovan on TV? Nobody's looking out for this poor guy. But him actually doing it and, doing his job, I'm sure, well, as a commentator for Fox Sports, to me, that's baller mentality. That's get that shit done. I got a job to do, and God damn it, I'm going to do it. I mean, that's better than like being a bitch about it and not doing the job that you're supposed to be doing. This guy's got a technical expertise that needs to be on display, and he did it despite looking like a fucking fool. I got some respect for a person who does that. Cole says, just shave your head. Who gives a fuck? Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a problem with anybody getting a hair transplant. Some people are more sensitive to it. Chris says he addressed this today. He didn't mention you, of course. I think I need to talk to you directly about this, Chris. I'll get to that in a second. What he's referring to is I wrote, which broadcaster has the worst hair? Burn King or Landon Donovan? Note, Donovan just had a hair transplant. Burn King prefers his that way. Thumbs up for Donovan. Heart for Burn King. Look at this dick's hair. What the fuck? My God. At last check, 10 thumbs up for Donovan, 7 for the Burn King. So true, they're saying that Donovan's does look worse than the Burn Kings. Tim says Landon Donovan looks like he passed out drunk and his kids played barbershop. He should have shaved it before showing up in public. Chris, incoming. Hopefully you can take the call. Chris K, how do I keep them all straight? How do we keep them together? Probably working. Probably can't take the call.
Please leave your message for 61.
All right, I can't. Did he say that there was a he says 8:05, top of the hour. Let me ask you this, because you can communicate via the chat. Did he actually say there's a comparison being made on Facebook or online? Obviously, he didn't mention me. Between me, who has worse hair, me and Landon Donovan? Did he actually go that far on it? Or did he just happen to mention, I don't know. I mean, how did it sound? I can't access it right now, but I would be anxious to hear it. He says, no, but it was a conspicuous comparison. All right. He defended his own hair. Oh, Greg, you're such a fucking tool. Jesus Christ, stop it. You're embarrassing yourself, you fucking moron. My God. All right, 19 minutes to Meathead. Send them along, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. I read this today on Quora, I don't know how to say it. What three things, somebody asked, what three things should a person avoid once they are past 70 years old? John O'Leary, I don't know who that is, writes, I hit 70 in July. Here are my top three. 1, never, ever comment on a young lady's appearance. You may think it's cute. In reality, it's creepy. Okay. I'm going to take that a step further. That's not just for past the age of 70. Like, if you have someone like Bill Belichick's girlfriend, who's 24 and he's 72. Oh, God. I don't think anyone older than, I don't know, 6-7 years is okay. That might be a bit much. 24-year-old chick, 30-year-old guy, 31-year-old guy. All right, I'll go 40. If she's 24 and he's 40, and you're making a comment about a young lady's appearance, yeah, I'm sorry, that's creepy. That's fucked up. And the window gets even more bizarre the older the guy gets. Like, if she's 24 and he's 50, now it's even more creepy. I mean, that makes sense. This is what, it's kind of like how children, a lot of people say kids are better off to be seen, not heard. I think that applies to people that are getting a little long in the tooth. Because typically, someone who's older doesn't really give a fuck about anything. So they kind of just say whatever the fuck they want and don't care what anybody thinks about them. That's horrible. That's a horrible way to live. It's a young person's world. Get the fuck out of the way and shut up, unless you're asked specifically. And that goes for me, too, with the exception of this podcast, which I do for hours and hours every day. Yeah, shut up. Just don't talk. Don't. Bill does that all the time. Simon makes comments about like hot golfers. Like he'll see somebody on TV, some female golfer, and he'll be like, "Oh my God, she's just killing it. She's having a great round, and oh my God, she's just so beautiful." And I'm always like, "Yeah." And I tell him on the air, I go, "Yeah, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't make those comments." Why? I'm just saying she's beautiful. Yeah, I know what you're doing. But, oh yeah, there's no problem with that. No, there really is. You sound creepy as fuck. I mean, who the fuck wants that? Unless, of course, you're a sick fuck like Belichick and you actually have someone who is your girlfriend. Which I can't believe that she is really attracted to him. She has to only be attracted to the dollars and cents. Isn't that right? I mean, no self-respecting young lady would do that, would actually find a guy like that attractive. It just doesn't happen. There are some times when it does happen, but the window of age is much less. I mean, take Linda, for example. That's the one that comes to mind in the audience. It was at her 18th birthday party when her 62-year-old neighbor came by and said, "Hey, happy birthday." And, well, she fell in love. And, like, by the end of the day, her feet were in the air. It's a true story. Number 2, this guy writes, "For goodness sake, do not complain about your health, discuss your medications, ramble on about stiff knees, sore back, etc." Well, I don't know about that. Sometimes that makes people feel better. My fucking right hand right now is numb. It's actually numb. And finally, number 3. Stop excessive anything. Weight gain, drinking, overextending yourself. Three things a person should avoid once they are past 70 years old. I'm sure there can be more. Those are that guy's top 3. I think Linda is listening later in the day, so when she hears that, she's probably going to be like, what the fuck? Rich says she has a thing for grandpas. Rebecca says, I had the chance to date a lawyer, but couldn't do it because he was 20 years older than me and he was gross. Okay. What was your age at the time to this? You were 28 and he was 48. Okay. Yeah, probably a good thing to avoid that. But were you considering it? Were you at a point where you were like, well, maybe, but just because he's got cash? So were you even considering it? And if that's the case, was it only because he had a ton of dough? I would understand that. Chris in Buffalo says, let's roll reverse. Say a 70-year-old cougar starts dating a 25-year-old male. Oh, yeah. We did this exact same thing when we started talking about Belichick dating the young chick. Rebecca says it was a blind date. So you went on a blind date with a guy, and you knew he was 20 years older than you, or you didn't know he was 20 years older than you? Because if it's a blind date, a truly blind date, and you don't know his age, and you walk in and you see this fucking white-haired fossil asshole, you got to be like, oh, fuck me. She says, he liked me more than I liked him. Yes, I knew that he was 20 years older. Okay, I can just... Now, see, you said here on this show she was gross. I can just imagine what went through your head when you walked into wherever this was. Let's say it's a restaurant or something, and you see him and you're like, oh, God. You have to actually conscientiously try to not, like, wrinkle up your face like, you have to kind of like go, oh, hey, put on a happy face. And right then, you're already committed to the date being over, and you never want to see this fucker. And he's thinking, oh, man, I got a shot with a 28-year-old. Oh, my God. And and you're like just trying to not lead on that you want to barf in your mouth. And then maybe you're like, well, maybe if I sit here and stare at him long enough, I'll start to think he's attractive. Nope. Not at all. Not doing that. Kenny says, oh, man, I seen that face. Oh, that's so sad. Poor Kenny. He's sitting there at a blind date. She walks in and goes, oh. He's like, God damn it. That's all right. You can just leave. That sounds so terrible. So sad. All right. Rebecca says, I could have been rich, but couldn't do it. So let me ask you this. 0 to 100%. Were you even 1% considering it? Or was it 0%? You know a guy who looks so bad, right after you see him, you're like, oh, God. He's probably got like a deformed penis. One of those weird ones that when it's stiff, it's got like a knuckle in it, and it's bent like at a weird angle. And I'm not talking like a curve, which there's a term for that. It's like got a knuckle in it. It's a knuckle dick. And then how do you get out of that? You power through the date. All right? And then there has to be I had a really good time. See you later. I mean, is it like that? And then when that happens, does he say, hey, well, can I call you? And then at some point you have to say no, right? I mean, is that... Oh, God damn. I mean, if I'm you at the end of that night, I leave no doubt that there will not be a second meeting. I think it might even be fair at that moment. Pretend I'm Rebecca. And this has not gone well at all. But it's time to leave. Well, I tell you what. This has been nice meeting you. I'm role-playing. Nice meeting you. But I think I'm not interested. Or don't even say I think. I say, and it's been nice meeting you. I'd like to stay friends, but outside of that, I'm not really interested. Is it that jarring? Or do you just kind of like, well, just kind of get away from them and then ignore them, ghost them? I kind of hate that. What happened in that particular moment? Because I really think that you owe, the one thing you do owe is to actually say, so, it's been nice meeting you, but I'm not going to lie. I don't think I'm interested in anything more after this. And I didn't want to give you the wrong idea and have you call me and then wonder why I'm not calling you back or anything. So I'm just letting you know that I've enjoyed my time, but I don't think this is what I was looking for. I think ladies need to add this to their repertoire. Okay? I think that it's a real flaw. Anyone in general, ladies or men. I shouldn't just say ladies. The unwillingness to just simply say that one thing. I don't think I'm interested. I don't, just fucking say it. And because this guy thinks that he's got a shot, I am an anti-ghoster. Patrick says, I ghost women. I will respond to them, but never initiate conversation again. Well, that's not ghosting, ding dong. If they send you a note, say, hey, what are you doing? And you write nothing. You haven't ghosted them if you've responded. Do you know what ghosting means? Tell me you have a curved penis without telling me you have a curved penis. Kenny writes, hey now, they say a curved penis can easily hit certain spots that a normal straight one can't. Yeah, I didn't say it was bad. I said the one with the knuckle. It looks weird. Jimmy writes, penis knuckle. Is that a heavy metal band? That would be great. All right. I don't know how we got on this topic. Oh, it was because of these 70-year-olds saying never ever comment on a young lady's appearance. You just look like a fucking idiot. They know they look cute. If you say anything, they're going to think, God damn it. Yeah, you're a fucking rapist. Shut up. And I don't blame them. We need to start putting these old fucks like me in their place if they say anything like that. Yeah, you know what? Shut the fuck up, old man. Yeah, you know who listens to stupid old men? Nobody. Be quiet. Be quiet or you get your ass kicked. Walking around in our fucking New Balance tennis shoes. All right. Speaking of dads, mine in 3 minutes. Eric at ericzaneshow.com if you have a question for Dad. Nathan writes one. Megan writes one. And Mark R. If someone else has one, please. Eric at ericzaneshow.com. Kyle says a thing that should not be in the playbook for old guys is walking around in your Crocs with socks. Disagree. To me, that is a sign of extreme confidence. Okay? Or I don't give a fuckism. Nick adds, there's a great subreddit called Boomers Being Fools with some great old people interactions. Oh, I got to look up that. Yeah, I like being the old guy who just plays it cool. While all the other stupid old guys do all the stupid old guy things. I distance myself from them, light up a dart, and stand back and watch them be fucking morons. If you're watching the show on Facebook, X, or YouTube, I'm going to kick you out. You can head over, though, to twitch.tv and check out the show. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Patreon, patreon.com/Eric Zane. And, of course, the audio version of this podcast available wherever you download shows.